Hello everyone, how you guys doing? My name is Andre Alvarez, also known as @TheTrailTrek on Instagram. So, as you guys can see, we have a new car. We recently sold the Crosstrek, and now we are onto this beautiful 2006 Lexus Gx470. Super excited for what's to come. The first major mod is, of course, the Prinsu roof rack. Today, I'm going to be walking you through what to do. So first, we're going to take off the OEM crossbars. We're going to build this guy up, throw some silicone up there, and drop the bolts way in. It's way easier than the Crosstrek, just because in the Crosstrek, just for a little bit of background, you actually have to drop the headliner and like install some plus nuts. It's like a big ordeal. But this, you just drop it on top, screw it in. So I'm super excited. Stay tuned. And yeah, more GX content coming. If you guys want to see more day-to-day content, follow my Instagram, like I said, @TheTrailTrek. But here we go, and thanks for tuning in. So the first step to start off with is taking off the OEM roof rack. As you guys can see, I'm going at the front here. Just got a flathead screwdriver, took off these plastic covers to expose the screws. Moving on to the middle, it's the same thing. I found this one to be the trickiest just because you gotta kind of pry it, but eventually you'll get it. Just be kind of cautious. I broke a lot of clips, but I'm not reinstalling this, so it doesn't really matter. And then of course the rear, just went in from the top, as you can see here. And it popped off pretty easy. Again, I think there was 3 broken clips on this one, but anyway, pretty simple first step. So once you got the OEM roof rack off, you want to start taking off the bolts. Pretty sure there was 2 bolts on the rear here, and then I slowly started, transitioning to the other ones. The next thing you'll see here is the middle. The middle is a little bit different just because it's kind of perpendicular to the rail, so it's a little easier in that sense. But yeah, super easy to take that one off, and then I move to the front, which is the same thing as the back. There's a little bit of Loctite from the manufacturer, so just know that you will have to pry a little bit, but it's fairly easy. So, as you guys can see here, got to clean this out, take off this bolt on both sides. I'm going to clean all these little tracks out, build the Prinsu rack, and then we're ready to throw it on. Might need some other help for that, but anyway, yeah, you're just going to take off this bolt, clean this out. Here we go. So here what I'm doing is prepping to take off this little bracket. It has 2 bolts on each side, and that's where the Prinsu rack's going to go. Then I just got it ready to clean the tracks out. Now it's, relatively clean. Going all the way over there. Gonna have to go do that side, but very soon. It's super easy to take it off. You guys can see it's sitting over here now. But yeah, let's throw the Prinsu rack on. So here what I'm doing is obviously just taking everything out of the box. I wanted to take this kind of like quiet moment just to give a huge shout out to Prinsu. I ran the Prinsu rack on my Crosstrek, and I was extremely happy with how it ran over the last 2 years. So I truly recommend, if you're looking into it, whether it be for a Subaru, a Lexus, Toyota, Ford, Jeep, whatever, even a Razor, they have everything. But yeah, truly love the product. Quality is of the highest standard. So yeah, enjoy, and I hope this install is going well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to install. This is the wind deflector. So you guys can see I got the light bar cut out. I will be putting a light bar on. I got all the hardware, which I'm gonna open in the back so you guys can see. Here we go. So this I find to be the hardest part. I sped this up really fast because it took me a while. But pretty much what I do is I put the little guides in on the deflector, and then I slide in the 80/20 aluminum, as you can see that I'm doing here. I leave them just a little loose to give me that play, but it's super easy if you do it that way. So as you guys can see now, we finally got this guy on. That little technique I did is I just set these guys in and slid the bar in. But yeah, super excited. Gonna build the rack now. Stay tuned. Step 1 done. Cool, so now we're gonna start the process of actually putting the rack together. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take those Torx 20 screws that come labeled crossbar hardware, and you're gonna put a washer right in, and then you're literally just gonna connect all the crossbars to the side rails, and it'll be ready to go. Each crossbar is gonna take 2 of these bolts on each side. So yeah, get ready. I have this cool Torx 20 tool that I attached to my Milwaukee, and it's super quick, so check out that time lapse, and I'll give a little bit of commentary on that too. So now to the coolest part of the install, which is actually building the rack. What I did is I set out the 2 side rails, connected the wind deflector to both of them. As you can see, I'm using my Milwaukee with that Torx 20 attachment. Connected both sides, tightened that up, then went back to the rear,
got the hardware I needed, put that in, and now after this, what I'm going to start doing is laying out all the actual crossbars. One thing that I do want to know is I am not tightening everything, you know, all the way in. I'm leaving it a little bit loose because when you go throw it on the car, you want a little bit of play to allow you to set it into the car. So I would recommend doing that. And yeah, other than that, it's pretty simple, straightforward, and it starts looking like a real rack after this. Final step that I forgot to do was to put the trim on the wind deflector. So I took it back off, put the trim on, and we were good to go. You can do this before or after, doesn't really matter.
Well, no install is complete without a snag. Turns out one of the actual threads that the GX was supposed to have isn't there, so now I have to take off part of the headliner to get a nut in there and hold this down. Not ideal, but gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. So yeah, I will keep you guys posted on how that goes. Let me show you guys real quick what it looks like, but gonna have to go to Home Depot and get some lock nuts. It's life. You guys can see this right here is the thread. Just focus here a little bit better. That there is the thread. That one had no thread when I took it off, so now I had to get a nut, put it under so that when I put this in, because you see, just follow all the way through so it'll hold, this one actually has thread. So anyway, just part of the game. If this happens to you, you're gonna have to take down a little bit of the headliner inside and then make it work. So anyway, that's life. Keep you guys posted.
So now I'm actually starting to put the silicone up there. What I did is I set all the spacers, as you could see, and then I just went in with some clear silicone from Home Depot and just kind of put it around the sides, a little bit inside, so that when we dropped in the bolts from the Prinsu rack, it would, you know, would seal. I've had no issues whatsoever so far. I did the same thing on the Crosstrek, ran it for like 2 years. So yeah, recommend using clear silicone, just set it them, you'll be good to go. So on to the most important part, throwing the rack on. Use 2 people for this, do not do it alone, it is heavy. Leave the bolts a little bit loose to line it up and you'll be ready to go.
Well, we got the rear fixed. What we had to do, I'm gonna insert a picture of the inside of it from that side, but I used the original Prinsu like washer on the top, and then I got a little washer and a lock nut on the bottom and took down the headliner and then like stuck a wrench up there and tightened it. So thankfully there's already one good bolt up there, so now with the 2 like should be fine, but just had to kind of think on the fly. Other than that, it's ready to go. My brother's recording me over here, that's why I'm like laughing. But anyway, now we're gonna throw the Ironman awning on there. This thing is sturdy, ready to go. I love how it looks. So anyway, just be ready. You might have to do that. You never know what'll go on back there. Anyway, stay tuned for the awning.
So I'm going to be putting a link in the description for these brackets, but they're pretty much the Prinsu brackets that work for any awning pretty much. So what we did is we put them onto the awning and then we're lining it up with the crossbars on the rack to get it where we need it. And then eventually you kind of get the spot where you need it and you lock it in, as you'll see in a bit. But I recommend 2 people for this, do not do it alone. So did a little test opening of the Ironman awning, which I'll leave a link from the description as well. Absolutely love this thing and looks great on the Prinsu rack. 10 out of 10 recommend for Lexus or Crosstrek owners.
So we are done. What do you guys think? Christian approves, right?
Yes.
We got the awning on, the rack on. We're gonna open up the awning, show you guys a little bit of B-roll of how everything's held down. But overall it was a straightforward install. It's just kind of sucked that we hit that slip. But anyway, life goes on. Gonna open the awning so you guys can see. Excited to see how it looks, but thanks for watching. More GX content to come. I'm new to this world, so it's gonna be fun to learn with all of you. Stay safe.